They've convinced you that creating your ideal reality requires intense struggle, that you need complex ceremonies, hours of visualization, perfectly crafted mantras, and relentless work to elevate your frequency. But what if the real secret to quantum manifestation is breathtakingly effortless? So effortless, in fact, that virtually everyone overlooks it completely. Right now, you exist within a quantum field of unlimited potential, a field that responds not to your struggle but to your inner harmony. Yet most people treat manifestation like warfare. They attempt to bulldoze their present circumstances through sheer determination. They recite affirmations they don't truly believe, imagine outcomes they privately question, and force positive thinking while their nervous system remains trapped in anxiety, scarcity, and overwhelm. This is precisely where everything breaks down. Because in quantum reality, forcing creates resistance. Let me break this down to something elegantly simple. Quantum manifestation isn't about acquiring what you desire. It's about selecting the version of reality where you already possess it. It's not about transforming the outer world first. It's about embodying the inner frequency that magnetizes that world to you. The quantum field contains every potential outcome: triumph and defeat, prosperity and poverty, connection and isolation, wellness and suffering. All of these exist simultaneously as probability waves. But here's the key insight. These waves only become your actual experience when they encounter a focused observer. That observer is you. Your awareness, your concentration, your emotional state, these are the forces that shape reality. Yet most people are trapped in a cycle. They're observing through the lens of fear. They're fixated on what's absent. They're radiating the energy of scarcity while attempting to attract abundance. In quantum terms, this creates static interference, not a clear signal. You've been programmed to pursue what you want, but the true mastery of manifestation is becoming the version of yourself that no longer needs to pursue. It's the version that understands, I am already connected to the life I seek. The field is listening for my frequency. My role isn't to struggle harder, it's to become more precise. Why don't people embrace this approach? Because simplicity feels too easy. Because releasing control seems counterintuitive. Because stopping the chase feels like surrender. But here's the paradox that changes everything. The instant you stop desperately needing something, the field becomes free to deliver it to you. Consider this example. Recall a moment when something wonderful happened without effort. Perhaps you encountered exactly the right person unexpectedly, discovered a perfect opportunity you weren't even looking for, or received a brilliant insight while relaxed. What was the common element? You weren't grasping, you weren't straining, you were receptive, harmonized, and available. That's quantum manifestation in action, whether you recognized it or not. The quantum realm doesn't respond to your spoken words. It interprets your energetic broadcast. You might declare, I am prosperous, endlessly. But if your body is transmitting fear, if your heart is contracted with lack, if your nervous system is programmed for struggle, the field will reflect that inner turmoil back to you. Not out of cruelty, but because it's incredibly accurate. This brings us to the revolutionary shift. Quantum manifestation starts when you stop concentrating on acquiring and begin focusing on becoming. You transform into the signal itself. You embody the frequency. You allow your inner state to guide, not your effort. But here's something most manifestation teachers won't tell you. There are actually 3 distinct layers to your energetic broadcast that most people are completely unaware of. The first layer is your conscious thoughts, what you're actively thinking about. The second layer is your emotional body, what you're actually feeling beneath those thoughts. And the third, most powerful layer is your cellular memory, the patterns and traumas stored in your body from past experiences that continue to broadcast even when you're not consciously aware of them. Most people only work with the first layer. They try to think their way into a new reality, but the quantum field reads all 3 layers simultaneously, and if there's incoherence between them, the field responds to the strongest signal, which is usually the cellular memory. This is why someone can affirmatively think about abundance while their body is still storing the cellular memory of poverty from childhood, and the field keeps reflecting back financial struggle. The breakthrough happens when you learn to align all three layers. This requires a different approach than what most people have been taught. It requires what I call quantum coherence training, the practice of synchronizing your thoughts, emotions, and cellular memory into one unified broadcast. This raises an essential question. What exactly influences the quantum field? Is it purely thoughts, emotions, beliefs, actions? And how do you synchronize these elements so they're not broadcasting conflicting messages? This is where most manifestation teachings collapse. They address only one component, typically thoughts or feelings, without tackling the deeper harmony of your entire system. They encourage positive thinking without healing the wounds stored in your body. They promote visualization without clearing the unconscious patterns that sabotage you. They suggest affirming success while your nervous system remains prepared for failure. But the quantum field listens to your complete transmission, the unified embodied signal. That's why alignment isn't just a mental exercise, it's a whole body, whole system, whole field transformation. In what comes next, we'll explore exactly how the quantum field operates, why the observer principle is crucial, what wave collapse actually means, and how your unconscious mind broadcasts frequencies even when you're unaware. We'll reveal the beautiful mechanics behind what appears magical, and I'll demonstrate why manifestation works best when you stop forcing it. Here's my question for you to contemplate as we prepare for the next section. Where in your life are you pushing so hard that you've become the very obstacle you're trying to overcome? Ready to explore the quantum depths with me? Let's uncover the mystery you've been unconsciously participating in all along. The quantum field isn't responding to your hopes, it's responding to your internal consistency. Imagine the quantum field as a universal interpreter. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions are synchronized, the message is crystal clear, the frequency is stable, and the field responds almost immediately. But when you're thinking one thing, feeling something else, and acting in a completely different way, the message becomes scrambled. The field reflects back not clarity, but confusion. This is where the observer principle becomes central, a fundamental concept in quantum physics. At the quantum level, particles exist in pure potential, what scientists call a wave function. But when an observer, you focuses on a specific potential, that wave transforms into a concrete event. Reality becomes solid. Decisions materialize. The invisible becomes visible. But here's the crucial part. The observer isn't just your conscious awareness. The observer also includes your unconscious mind. This means that even if you consciously desire prosperity, if your unconscious is programmed for survival, scarcity, or fear, the field detects that hidden transmission. Your unconscious becomes the real observer, materializing a timeline you didn't consciously select. This explains why so many people feel trapped. They're aligning their surface thoughts, but neglecting the deep programming running underneath. In the quantum realm, the unconscious always has the final say. Here's where it gets fascinating from a scientific perspective. Recent research in neuroscience has revealed something called predictive processing. Your brain is constantly making predictions about reality based on past experiences. These predictions actually shape what you perceive and experience. So if your unconscious is programmed with patterns of lack, rejection, or struggle, your brain literally predicts and then creates experiences that match those patterns. This is why changing your thoughts alone isn't enough. You have to update the predictive models running in your unconscious. You have to teach your nervous system new patterns of safety, abundance, and trust. This happens not through thinking, but through feeling, through embodied experiences that create new neural pathways and cellular memories. But the science gets even more intriguing. Researchers like Joe Dispenza and Bruce Lipton have demonstrated that the heart generates its own electromagnetic field, significantly more powerful than the brain's. This heart field extends outward and connects with the broader quantum field surrounding you. When your heart and brain are synchronized, you emit a strong, coherent signal. When they're mismatched, the signal becomes weak and scattered. This is why attempting to manifest through mental effort alone frequently fails. Without the emotional element, the felt experience of alignment, the quantum field receives no clear signal to mirror back. This is where most people lose their way. They want to think themselves into transformation, when actually they must feel their way into alignment. You can't simply inform the field of your desires. You must become the energetic equivalent of what you seek. This means harmonizing your body, your breathing, your nervous system, your beliefs, your daily choices into unity. It's not a single ritual, it's a continuous way of living. Let's examine a practical example. Suppose you want to manifest a loving relationship. You can write affirmations, create vision boards, imagine your perfect partner. But if underneath you carry wounds of feeling unworthy, if your nervous system expects rejection, if your heart is defended and scared to be vulnerable, the quantum field senses that internal conflict. It detects the contradiction, and what returns to you is more yearning, more seeking, more almost but not quite connections. It's not that the universe is working against you. It's that it's perfectly mirroring your primary frequency. So what creates the shift? The shift happens through coherence, through feeling complete in this moment, through practicing the emotions of your desire before it manifests, through embodying the state of already having it so the field can materialize that timeline into form. You become the frequency first, and the physical reality follows. But there's another critical piece that most people miss: the importance of what I call energetic hygiene. Just as you brush your teeth daily to maintain dental health, you need daily practices to maintain energetic clarity. This means regularly clearing the accumulated stress, doubt, and fear that builds up from living in a world that often promotes scarcity thinking. Energetic hygiene involves 3 simple but powerful practices. First, there's energetic clearing, consciously releasing the emotional residue from your day through breathwork, movement, or simply placing your hands on your heart and allowing yourself to feel and release. Second, there's frequency tuning, deliberately choosing thoughts and emotions that align with your desired reality, even for just a few minutes each day. Third, there's field protection, being mindful of what energies you allow into your space, whether through media, conversations, or environments. When you maintain good energetic hygiene, your signal to the quantum field becomes cleaner and more consistent. You're no longer broadcasting mixed messages or carrying energetic debris that confuses your manifestation process. This might seem overwhelming, but here's the simple, powerful truth. The more you release control over the outcome and the more you focus on managing your internal state, the faster the quantum responds. This is why this video emphasizes that it's easy, yet nobody does it. Because the human mind loves complexity. We want 12 steps, 7 secrets, a foolproof system. But the quantum isn't a machine. It's a reflection. It's a cosmic dance partner. It's alive, responsive, intelligent, and it's waiting for you to approach it with a calm, embodied presence. Now, here's where I want to guide you into this practice. Take a deep breath right now. Notice how your body feels as you absorb this information. Notice where you're holding stress. Notice the mental chatter running in the background. And for just a moment, release. Let the tension dissolve. Let the urge to control, force, and figure everything out fade away. Experience what it feels like to be at peace right here, right now, without needing anything to change. This is where your true power resides. Before we continue, I'd love to invite you into something that helps solidify this shift. If you're feeling a moment of recognition, if something inside you is awakening right now, hit that subscribe button. Join this community, this dialogue, this movement. And in the comments, share one word, just one, that represents the energy you want to embody this week. Maybe it's flow, maybe it's peace, maybe it's power. Whatever emerges first, that's your signal. Express it, claim it, make it real. Because the moment you name it, you begin to align with it. Are you ready to discover why almost no one discusses this aspect of manifestation? The part that's so straightforward it almost feels like you're getting away with something. Shall we dive into the next layer? So why is it that virtually nobody actually applies this? Why, despite countless books, programs, and endless YouTube content about manifestation, do so many people remain stuck, frustrated, and let down? The answer is both straightforward and challenging, because releasing control feels wrong. The human mind is obsessed with control. We've been trained to believe that the more we struggle, the more we earn, that hardship equals value, that the more intensely we work, the more likely we are to succeed. So when we encounter a system like quantum manifestation, where the primary ingredient is coherence, alignment, and letting go. It conflicts with our conditioning. We continue trying to manipulate outcomes, even though manipulation is precisely the frequency that signals to the field that we don't trust the process. Let me explain this further. Most people who struggle with manifestation are caught in what I call the monitoring trap. They are constantly checking their progress. They visualize wealth, but anxiously check their bank balance every few hours. They script about love, but become obsessed with texts and dating profiles. They affirm health, but scan their body for problems every morning. By doing this, they broadcast a signal of doubt to the field. They are consciously affirming one thing, but unconsciously transmitting the opposite. Why is this so significant? Because the quantum field doesn't understand English or any human language. It speaks the language of vibration, and vibration is always honest. You can speak all the right words, but if your nervous system is expecting loss, if your mind is caught in worry loops, if your body is stressed with cortisol, the field responds to that deeper frequency. This is why so many people feel drained. They are doing all the techniques, but they're doing them from a place of anxiety, scarcity, and lack. And so they create more of the same. They manifest more waiting, more absence, more striving, more searching, because energetically, they are not living in the timeline of having. They are existing in the timeline of needing.
Now here's something that will probably surprise you. Your manifestation speed is directly related to your capacity to feel safe in your nervous system. When your nervous system is in a state of chronic stress or hypervigilance, it's constantly scanning for threats and preparing for survival. In this state, your brain literally cannot access the neural networks associated with creativity, abundance, and possibility. You're stuck in what neuroscientists call the default mode network, patterns of thinking based on past experiences and fears about the future. But when your nervous system feels safe, what researchers call a ventral vagal state, your brain comes online in a completely different way. You gain access to higher order thinking, creative problem solving, and what some call quantum intuition, the ability to sense possibilities that aren't yet visible. This is why the most powerful manifestors often seem so calm and grounded. They've learned to regulate their nervous system first, and manifestation becomes a natural byproduct of that inner safety. The practical implication is profound. Before you try to manifest anything external, focus on creating internal safety. This might mean healing trauma, learning to self-regulate, or simply developing a practice of nervous system care through breathwork, movement, or mindfulness. And here's where it becomes even more nuanced. The unconscious mind controls approximately 95% of your daily experience. It is the automatic system that shapes your habits, beliefs, emotional responses, and sense of self. You may consciously desire a breakthrough, but if your unconscious is rooted in old narratives, I'm not worthy, nothing ever works out for me, I must fight for everything, those stories will collapse the wave into the same familiar outcomes. This is why affirmations without embodiment feel empty. This is why visualizations without nervous system healing fail. This is why action without aligned identity creates burnout. So what's the solution? First, you must recognize that quantum manifestation isn't something you add to your life. It's a complete recalibration of your entire system. It's a remembering, a coming home. It's about becoming the version of yourself that exists within the timeline you desire before you witness evidence of that timeline in your physical world. For instance, if you want to manifest prosperity, you practice feeling prosperous now. Not later, not when the money shows up, but now. You treat yourself with abundance, presence, and kindness. You release the need to micromanage the outcome, and you focus on embodying the signal of trust. If you want love, you practice loving yourself now. You open your heart, you soften your defenses, you become the type of partner you wish to attract. You stop seeking approval and start living as though you are already complete, because you are. If you want health, you stop searching your body for problems and you begin nurturing what's working. You shift from survival mode into thriving. You practice appreciation for the body you have while gently guiding it toward greater vitality. And here's the paradox. When you stop desperately wanting it, it arrives more quickly. Not because the universe is testing you or playing games, but because you are no longer blocking the flow. So let me ask you this. Where in your life are you still gripping the controls with white knuckles? Where are you still measuring, tracking, forcing, and chasing? What would shift if you relaxed your grip by just 10%? Take a moment with that question. This isn't about becoming passive. It's about transforming from control to collaboration. And that transformation, subtle, powerful, revolutionary, is where quantum manifestation truly begins to function. In the next section, we're going to discuss the simple but rarely practiced methods that can help you realign your system, regulate your state, and become the clearest signal possible to the quantum field. We'll explore how to dissolve resistance without avoiding your authentic emotions, how to build trust with your unconscious mind, and how to step into the timeline you desire as if it's already your reality. So here's my question for you to consider before we move forward. Where in your life are you holding on so tightly that you've become the very blockage you're trying to clear? Here we stand at the edge of the most powerful truth in quantum manifestation. The part almost no one discusses, the part hiding in plain sight. It's this: you don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you are. This isn't just a beautiful concept, it's a core principle that determines how the quantum field interacts with you. The field doesn't respond to your words, your vision boards, or your Instagram-worthy affirmations. It responds to the signal of your being, the energetic signature you carry into every space, every thought, every interaction. And that signature is created moment by moment, not in what you're doing, but in how you're being. Let me illustrate this with an analogy. Imagine you're a radio receiver. If you want to hear classical music, you don't sit there demanding classical music from the airwaves while staying tuned to a rock station. You have to adjust the dial. You have to match your frequency to what you want to receive. Quantum manifestation operates identically. You can't attract the timeline you desire while broadcasting the frequency of the timeline you're trying to escape.
So, how do you adjust the dial? You begin by becoming aware of your current frequency, not just what you think, but how you feel. How does your body navigate the day? How do you breathe when you're anxious? What narratives play repeatedly in the background of your mind? Most of us aren't manifesting intentionally. We're manifesting unconsciously, repeating the same states, the same reactions, the same energetic broadcasts, and the field faithfully mirrors these back to us. The transformation begins when you interrupt the pattern, not with force, not with frantic effort, but with simple embodied practices. It can be as subtle as taking a conscious breath during a moment of stress, as gentle as placing your hand on your heart when you're spiraling into doubt, as bold as asking yourself, what would the version of me who already has this do right now? And then taking one small action from that space. Because here's what they don't tell you. The quantum doesn't require you to be perfect. It just needs you to be consistent. Consistency happens when your thoughts, emotions, and actions move in the same direction. It's when you stop saying one thing, feeling another, and doing something completely different. It's when your entire system resonates with a single unified frequency, and when you achieve that state, even briefly, you create a kind of magnetic pull in the field. Reality begins to reorganize around you. Here's something most people don't realize. You're already a master manifestor. You've been manifesting your entire life. You just haven't been doing it consciously. Every experience you've had, every relationship, every opportunity, every challenge has been a reflection of your internal state at the time. The goal isn't to learn how to manifest. It's to learn how to manifest consciously and deliberately. Think about it this way. You manifested your way into every situation you're currently in. Your current relationships reflect your beliefs about love and worthiness. Your current financial situation reflects your beliefs about money and abundance. Your current health reflects your beliefs about your body and vitality. This isn't about blame or shame. It's about recognizing your incredible creative power that's been operating unconsciously. The shift to conscious manifestation happens when you take responsibility for your energetic output without taking responsibility for everything that's happened to you. You acknowledge that while you may not have chosen your circumstances, you can choose your response. And your response, your energetic frequency, is what shapes what comes next. But let's make this practical. If you want to embody abundance, practice generosity, not just with money, but with attention, with time, with energy. Train your nervous system to feel the sensations of I have plenty, even if your bank account hasn't reflected that yet. If you want to embody love, practice vulnerability. Open your heart in small, brave ways. Become the safe space you're seeking in someone else.
If you want to embody health, practice presence. Listen to your body, nourish it, move it, rest it from a place of care, not punishment. This is the straightforward path, and yet few walk it because it requires you to go first, to become the frequency before the evidence appears, to lead with being, not needing. And this brings us to one of the most misunderstood aspects of the entire manifestation conversation: emotional regulation. People think manifestation means feeling positive all the time. It doesn't. It means feeling authentic all the time, and learning to bring your system back into alignment when you get off track. This means welcoming your emotions, not avoiding them. It means creating space for fear without letting it control your choices. It means developing emotional intelligence so you can navigate waves without being overwhelmed by them. But here's a crucial distinction. There's a difference between feeling your emotions and being consumed by them. When you feel fear, for example, you can acknowledge it, honor the message it's trying to give you, and then choose how to respond. When you're consumed by fear, it becomes your identity and drives all your decisions. The key is what psychologists call emotional granularity, the ability to distinguish between different emotional states and understand what each one is telling you. Instead of just feeling bad, you might recognize that you're feeling anxious about a specific outcome, or disappointed about an unmet expectation, or frustrated about a perceived lack of progress. When you can name your emotions specifically, you can respond to them more skillfully. This emotional awareness becomes a powerful manifestation tool because it allows you to course correct quickly. Instead of spending days or weeks in a low vibration state, you can notice when you're off track and gently guide yourself back into alignment. Here's the reality: you will get off track. You will doubt. You will have days when the old timeline tries to pull you back. That's normal. The power isn't in never falling, it's in how quickly you return. So, here's my invitation to you right now. Take a breath. Notice where you are. Ask yourself, what timeline am I aligned with in this moment? Is it the one of fear or the one of trust? Is it the one of lack or the one of abundance? Is it the one of waiting or the one of receiving? No judgment, just awareness. Because the moment you notice, you create a choice point. And choice is the doorway to consistency.
In the next section, we're going to bring this all together. We'll explore how to turn these insights into a daily practice, how to navigate challenges with grace, and how to maintain the frequency that materializes your desired timeline into reality. But before we continue, I want to acknowledge you for taking this journey so far. If you're feeling energized, if you're feeling understood, if you're sensing that something inside you is already transforming, hit that subscribe button, join this space, this community, this conversation, and in the comments, share a word that captures your intention right now. Maybe it's receive, maybe it's trust, maybe it's become. Whatever it is, that word becomes your signal to the field. Here we are, the final piece of the puzzle. And I want you to truly understand this. Manifestation is not a performance, it's a practice. It's not something you master once. It's something you live, moment by moment, choice by choice. So many people get trapped in the belief that manifestation is about doing more, gaming the system, perfecting the formula. But in reality, the most powerful manifestors aren't the ones who know the most techniques. They're the ones who have learned how to maintain a coherent state, to bring themselves back into alignment when life inevitably challenges them. Because here's the truth: you will face moments that test you. There will be days when fear resurfaces, when old patterns whisper in your ear, when the timeline you're trying to leave feels like it's calling you back. And in those moments, you'll be tempted to return to control mode, to push, to force, to micromanage. But the real mastery is this: can you maintain the frequency of trust even when the evidence hasn't shown up yet? Can you hold the vibration of "it's already complete" while the world still appears unchanged? Can you become so rooted in the new timeline that the old one no longer tempts you? This is where embodiment becomes essential. So let's make this actionable. Every morning, before you reach for your phone, take a few breaths and ask yourself, what frequency am I selecting today? Is it scarcity or abundance, fear or trust, control or flow?
Throughout the day, use your body as your guide. Your body will signal when you've shifted out of alignment. You'll feel the tension, the tightness, the contraction, and in that moment, you don't need to judge yourself or panic. You just need to notice, breathe, and recalibrate. Ask, what would the version of me living in my desired timeline choose right now? Then take one small action from that place.
And at night, before you fall asleep, review the day, not with criticism, but with curiosity. Where did you wobble? Where did you align? Where did you glimpse your own power? Gratitude amplifies coherence. Celebrate even the smallest victories. Here's a powerful practice that most people overlook, the art of future memory. This involves spending a few minutes each day remembering your desired future as if it has already happened. Not visualizing it as something you want, but remembering it as something you've experienced. This creates what neuroscientists call prospective memory. Your brain begins to encode your desired future as an actual memory, which then guides your unconscious decisions and actions toward making that future a reality. The key is engaging all your senses in this future memory. What do you see, hear, feel, smell, taste in your desired reality? How does your body feel when you're living that life? What emotions are present? The more vivid and sensory rich you can make these future memories, the more real they become to your nervous system. This isn't fantasy or wishful thinking, it's utilizing the same neuroplasticity that allows your brain to learn and adapt. You're literally rewiring your neural networks to support your desired reality instead of your current circumstances. Now here's something most people overlook. Community is crucial. We are social, energetic beings. We synchronize with the people around us. When you surround yourself with others who are practicing coherence, who are working with the quantum field, who are committed to embodiment, your system naturally attunes to that vibration. This is why it's so important to curate your environment, not just physically, but energetically. Seek out the voices, the spaces, the communities that remind you of who you are becoming. Fill your field with reminders of your chosen timeline. Let your external world support your internal practice. And remember this, there's no destination. The point isn't to arrive and then coast. The point is to live within a continuous unfolding, where you become the leading edge of your own evolution, where you don't just manifest things, but you become someone who lives as a creator, a collaborator, a conscious participant in shaping reality. This is what I call evolutionary manifestation. Using your desires not just to get what you want, but to become who you're meant to be. Every desire is actually an invitation from your soul to grow into a larger version of yourself. The relationship you want calls you to become more loving. The business you want to create calls you to become more innovative and courageous. The health you desire calls you to become more connected to your body and more committed to your well-being. When you view manifestation through this lens, success isn't just about getting your desires met. It's about who you become in the process. And often, who you become is far more valuable than what you receive. This perspective transforms the entire manifestation process from a transaction with the universe into a collaboration with your own evolution. You're not trying to manipulate reality to give you what you want. You're allowing reality to sculpt you into who you're meant to become. And your desires naturally manifest as a byproduct of that transformation. Because here's the most beautiful part. The quantum field is not separate from you. It's not something you influence from a distance. It's something you're entangled with. You are the field, you are the wave, you are the observer and the observed. So when you tune your frequency, you're not just asking life to meet you, you're becoming the version of life you've been seeking. I want to leave you with this invitation. In the comments, share one word that captures the energy you're choosing to carry forward after this video. Maybe it's alignment, maybe it's ease, maybe it's creation, maybe it's something uniquely yours. Let that word be a small but profound declaration, a quantum seed you plant, not just in this space, but within yourself. And if this video has awakened something inside you, if you felt a shift, a recognition, a spark, I warmly invite you to subscribe. This isn't just a channel, it's a living space, a gathering point, for those ready to step into their own creative power. When you hit subscribe, you're not just joining a list, you're joining a movement of minds and hearts, reshaping what's possible.
Thank you for walking this journey with me. Thank you for your presence, your attention, your energy. You are not just a viewer, you are a participant in this unfolding. Keep tuning, keep aligning, keep dancing in the field.